activists in Ireland who were fighting for United Ireland were, I mean, were fighting for all kinds of civil rights, took huge inspiration from the civil rights movement here in the United States. So they also started these peace marches. And then, of course, like they did here, the peace marches ended in violence. Things started to escalate. So there's a huge connection. And I think, part of what I was trying to do there, so Teshi, the black girl, talks about Sean Bell's murder, right? And Ricky Linnae, who plays Teshi, worked together really closely on developing that because we were interested in finding moments of trauma from each of the main characters' childhoods, right? This idea, like, again, we're talking about flashpoints and turning points. It's like, when is the moment as a kid that you realize that things are not the way you think they are? When is the moment where there's a switch that's flipped and the world can never be the same again? It's like for a queer kid when they realize that this heteronormative world is not your world, that everything that is built around that is not you, So Ricky had shared with me the story. She remembered Sean Bell's murder. She grew up in that part of New York City, and she remembered his murder. This was a young black man who was murdered by police on his wedding day, and the cops, needless to say, walked free. But there. So we talked a lot about what that moment for her character would be, and we really talked a lot about like what is it for her to put that trauma on screen, and what does that mean for the film, and how do we convey the enormity of that to the audience, So we kind of came up to this idea that the film should kind of stop at that moment, that the film's business takes now backseat for her business. You know what I mean? Not just as a character, but as a performer and as a human being is in this recording that we're watching,